Hello, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic in JavaScript, that is factory functions. So let's begin. What exactly are factory functions? So the topic here is factory functions. What exactly are factory functions? Factory functions, before understanding what exactly they are, you need to understand a problem statement, okay? To understand the factory functions, first you try to understand the problem statement. What is a problem in JavaScript, okay? You need to understand. Using this problem statement, you can easily understand what exactly are factory functions and why we have to use and create and use them in JavaScript programming, okay? What is a problem statement? I'll show you practically whatever the problem statement is from scratch. So here I am going to create a new JavaScript file. I'll just name this as factory-functions.js. Once I create this function, here I'll write some code. That is, I'll create an object. First of all, I'll create an object. Let user1, okay? Let user1 is equal to, and here I'll start the curly braces, and here I'll give the details. That is name of the user, name colon, double quotes. I'll give my name, let's say Arun Motori. Okay. And then put a comma here, and then I'll give some experience colon. Okay. Experience colon, and here I'll give the experience. Then I'll give some, I'll just create a method. Okay. I'll just create a function. The functions which are created inside the objects are generally called as methods in JavaScript. Okay, so we can call them as methods also. And here I'll give the name of the method or function. Okay, whatever you can say. I'll just name this as greet user. Okay, greet user colon. And here I'll just write this code function like this. Okay, function. And here inside this function, I'll print some statement saying, okay, double quotes, my name is this plus this particular name, okay, and plus, and okay, you see, uh yeah, here my name is user1 dot name, and I have around I have around, okay, plus user1 dot experience plus years of experience like this. I'll write the code. Okay, like this I created one object. Now I want to create another object. I want to create multiple objects for multiple users. This is one user. I want to create another user, user2. Again, I'll create like this an object. I'll copy paste this. Name. I'll just give the name as Varun Dawat. And here I'll give the experience as some 12 years of experience. And here again, user2 dot name, user2 dot experience. Okay. I want to create another object. I want to create multiple objects, guys. Okay. I want to create multiple objects. Every time I will create an object, I have to change the object name. And here, Tarun Bhaskar. And here, 9 years of experience. And here I'll give user3 dot name, user3 dot experience. Okay. Now I want to create one more object. You see, I'm creating multiple objects, but the same properties are there in each and every object, right? Here I'll give 4. Okay, 4, and I'll just give something like, Vijay Rana. Okay. And here I'll give the experience as 3 years of experience. My name is user 4 dot name, user 4 dot experience, user 4 dot experience. Like this, I'll give. Here, how many objects are there? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 objects are there, right? So, but they have the same properties. Every object has the same property. Now, if I want to get this working, I have to do something like this. Okay. I need to, I need to call the methods inside each and every object. How to call the method? Greet user. Call this. How to call this? With the help of this object name. User1, user1 dot greet user. And here, okay, user1 dot greet user. Then user2 dot greet user. Then user3 dot greet user. Then user4 dot greet user, and so on. Okay, like this I need to call this methods inside each and every object, multiple objects that I created. Okay, now if I run this code, if I go to the terminal and run this code, and here I'll write down node space factory hyphen functions dot js. If I run this, you see, my name is Arun Moturi. I have around 19 years of experience. My name is Varun Dawad and I have 12 years of experience. My name is Tarun Bhaskar and I have around 9 years of experience. My name is Vijay Rana and I have around 3 years of experience. Okay. The methods of each and every object respectively are called, but there is a problem in this code. The problem here is, you see, the properties of each and every object is same. Name, experience, greet user. Name, experience, greet user. Name, experience, greet user. Name, experience, greet user. So in JavaScript, if I have to create multiple objects, okay, guys, in JavaScript, we don't use class to create objects. Okay, in JavaScript, we don't use classes. Okay, we don't use class to create objects. Unlike in Java, in Java, in Java programming, we use we use classes to create objects. But coming to the JavaScript, but coming to the JavaScript, but coming to the JavaScript, we don't use classes or new keyword for creating objects. Okay, classes or new keyword are not used in JavaScript for creating objects. Rather, okay, we have to follow a different thing known as factory functions. Okay, so this problem was resolved in Java programming. If you are using Java programming, we generally use classes in Java programming, and with the help of the new keyword, we create any number of objects for each and every class. We can create multiple objects, okay, by creating objects for the classes using the new keyword in Java programming. But coming to the JavaScript, we don't have any classes or new keyword. We don't generally use classes or new keyword for creating objects in JavaScript. Rather, we use something known as factory functions. Okay, the solution here is factory functions. What is a factory function? Factory function is a kind of function, guys. Okay, you generally create a function. Some function you will create. Okay, function name, function name, like this. Okay, and here inside the function, you are going to create an object. Okay, inside this function, you are going to create a single object. Single object you are going to create, but by calling this function, you can call this function any number of times to create multiple objects. Here, instead of me creating so many objects here, how many objects I created? Object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4. Instead of these 4 objects, I can create a single object base. Okay, with the help of single object, with the help of factory functions, I can create this multiple objects. Okay, with the help of factory functions, I don't have to create objects separately for each and every object here. Okay, so how to do this? To overcome this problem, we have to create a function. Function is a keyword, and we have to give the name of the function. For example, okay, user, user, yeah. I think user is the name of the function or something, that's okay. Or you can give another name, or you can simply say user function or something. You just give some name, or we can take something for the reference, guys. Okay, some example is there, so which will give us proper namings and all those stuff. Or else we can simply say generate user or create user or whatever the name. Okay, I'll just choose the best name here. I'll just try to use a best name here, like create person, like that create user we'll say. Okay, Instead of, I'll give the name of the function as create user. It's a fact. I'm creating a factory function. What is a factory function and what is the difference between a normal function and factory function? Inside the function, if you are creating an object, that is called as a factory function. Okay. Inside this function, if you are creating an object, then that is called as a factory function. And this factory function will act like a factory of creating objects. Okay. Using this factory function, like a factory, you can create objects. Any number of objects you want, you can create. Create user like this. And here, okay, I will pass some name and experience. Okay, while calling the function, I can pass these details. But because for every object, the name and experience will be different, right? Those I am giving as a parameters here for the factory function. This is a factory function. Inside the factory function, I'm going to create an object. You can just give some object name like, user object, let user like this. And here, copy this only once. Copy this only once. Name, experience, greet user. And here, you should not hardcode the data. Name colon and this parameter name. And experience colon this experience parameter you have to give here. Okay, and then greet function. And here I don't have to give, user one dot name like that. You don't have to give. Simply give name experience. That is enough. Okay. So here only one time I need to create this object, and then this function need to return this object. Okay. When this particular function is called, this object should be returned by the function like this. Okay. Simple. Now, for the first one, what I have to do? I need to, okay, I need to call this function. This factory function I need to call. When I call the factory function and pass this arguments to these parameters, automatically the object will be created. Okay. And we can store that object also and do whatever you want. So for example, create user. And here I need to pass the name and experience. I would like to pass the name as Arun Motori, and then the experience as 19. Okay. Then here I'll say let user one is equal to, that's enough. Okay. You don't need this one anymore. Okay. You don't have to create an object like this. When you call a function, automatically the object will be created. This particular factory function, when called, it will take these arguments, and with the help of these arguments, and an object will be created here, and that object will be returned with all these properties will be written back here. Okay. And if you want to, okay, that's fine. Then let's create one more object. The second object, instead of writing this much amount of code, you can create one more object. And for that, I need to call this factory function again. Otherwise, you can copy paste this one, or create user, and here pass Varun Dawat as an argument, comma, and pass 12 as, like this. And just write down here, let user2 is equal to, and this part is done. This part is done. Then let user3 is equal to, again create user. You see how many objects you want to create, that many things you can write. Okay. That many times you can call this factory function. Factory function will create the objects for you. Unlike Java programming, where Java programming we use new keyword, and with the help of the class, by using the new keyword and class, we create as many number of objects with the help of the classes in Java programming. But coming to JavaScript, we generally use, okay, this factory functions, okay, for that purpose. So here I'll give 9 here, and put a semicolon here. That is user3. Remove this part. Okay, the one more object I'm going to create by calling this factory function, create user. Okay, here pass Vijay Rana. Then cut this, paste, comma, and give this 3 here, and then write down let user4 is equal to, okay, and you don't need this. So if you want to create one more object, let's say let user5, let's say, okay, user5 is equal to create user, okay, we'll give some different name here, okay, Rahul Sipli Ganj, okay, and experience is, 7 years of experience, let's say, like this. You see, I created 5 objects just by calling this factory function. By using this and all, I created 5 objects here. Okay. So now using this user1, I can call this greet user method as it is. Okay. I can access this properties, whatever I want. Okay. If I want to call this method, I can call also. user1 dot greet user, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, greet user1 dot greet user. Okay, user1 dot greet user. You can also write user2 dot greet user, then user3 dot greet user, user4 dot greet user, user5 dot greet user. Okay, like this. After creating the objects, you can access the object properties like these variables and methods inside the object by calling these factory functions with the help of this. You see, these are the objects. User1 is an object, user2 is an object, user4 is referring to an object, user5 is referring to an object. Using this object references, we can call this methods inside the objects. Okay, inside the object. You don't have to create objects multiple times in JavaScript. Rather, using the factory functions, by calling the factory functions, you can create any number of objects, okay, like the name factory. Okay, using these functions like a factory, we can create any number of objects. Now let's see whether this is working or not. Go to the terminal and just run this code, node space factory hyphen functions dot js. You see, my name is Arun Mutri. Same and same output we got. My name is Varun Dawat and I have around 12 years of My name is Tarun Bhaskar and I have around 9 years of experience. My name is Vijay Rana with 3 years of experience. My name is Rahul Sipliganj and I have 7 years of experience. Like that we got. Now, the next things that you can do here is, about these particular properties, guys. Inside the factory function, when you create the properties, here I give name property and I'm assigning the parameter, right? Instead of that, you just put name here. That's it. You don't have to say name colon name and experience colon experience. Instead of that, just give the parameter name experience. That's enough. And here, greet user is the name of the function and function. Instead of writing greet user property and then function and all those stuff, you can do something like this. Directly, you can write like this. It's okay. It's okay, guys. Same thing. Okay. Now run this code and see whether after changing this properties like this, okay, inside the factory function, the properties can be like this. Unlike the objects outside the function, inside the function, if you create an object, the object properties can be like this. Not a problem. Okay. They can be the parameter names and method names like this. Let's run this code and see. You got the same output without any problem. And one more thing that people use in real time here is, instead of creating, giving a name and all the stuff, right? They can directly write return here itself. Okay, they can write the return here itself. You don't have to write return user again. This is enough. Okay, this is how they simplify the factory functions in real time. Okay, giving some name and returning something separately and all. Directly write the return keyword here and then mention the factory function object here. When you call that function, the object will be created using this template. Okay. Now let's run this code again and see. You see, we are getting the same output without any difference. So this is the best way of using the factory functions in JavaScript, guys. So hope guys you understood what exactly are factory functions in JavaScript and how to use them in JavaScript language. And this is one of the important topics in JavaScript, guys. So okay, so with whatever the knowledge I have covered about this functions and all those stuff and objects and all in the previous sessions, with this you should be able to understand this session that I have covered in this session. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.